Welcome back to the channel. I finally got my hands on an OTF knife that has zero blade play. And you might be asking, or you might be wondering, did I buy a deadlock? Well, absolutely not. I don't think I would ever buy a deadlock. I don't think I can justify buying a $3,000 knife. But what I did buy is this bad boy right here. And this is the Microtech Ultratech Gen 3 ZBP, and ZBP stands for Zero Blade Play. And as you can see, I got the ultra clear aluminum version with the stonewash dagger blade. This thing is so freaking sweet. And I'm going to be doing a direct comparison with the original. Very similar, but there are definitely some differences here. And obviously this one doesn't have zero blade play, but there are some other differences and we're going to get into that today. So this here is the Microtech Ultratech Gen 3 ZBP. ZBP stands for Zero Blade Play. And it is true, there's absolutely no blade play whatsoever. And for the longest time, I wanted an OTF knife with zero blade play. For a few years ago, I even bought the SOG Pentagon OTF knife, and at first I thought it was super cool, but later finding out that it had problems with the internals, causing the blade to self-dull upon deployment and retraction, which is totally not cool, a huge design flaw, and I ended up selling it because I was not happy with it. It was a cool design overall, it looked badass, it felt super cool, and I kind of wish SOG would come out with a new version, a new and improved version of that knife with that problem fixed, but we'll see if they ever do that. And then of course, there was one time I was super close to buying the Hawk Knives Deadlock. I'm not sure which version, I don't remember which versions they have, but I think it was the newer version, which goes for about $3,000, if I remember. And something interesting, Microtech and Hawk Knives are actually in a lawsuit because apparently Microtech supposedly copied the internals of Hawk Knives. And to me, I don't really have a problem with that because I have this badass knife here, and yes, it is badass. And we're going to talk about some differences between this knife and the original Ultratech here. Now, this is not the oldest Ultratech model, but it is one of the older versions with the blade play, obviously, as you can definitely some blade play there, and there is some obvious differences upon first glance, like the pocket clip is a little different, the glass breaker is definitely different, the lanyard hole is different. Also, the width of the handle is for sure a little bit wider on the Gen 3. And both are amazing knives. I absolutely love both of these knives. Like I was saying, this one is the ultra clear aluminum scales, which feels so good and so smooth. It almost feels like titanium. Like you could not even tell the difference between this aluminum and titanium, which I absolutely love the look of this. And we got the stonewashed dagger blade. These switches are almost the same, little wider switch on the Gen 3. There's some milling beneath the switch on this one, which is a nice touch for sure. The milling on the handle is obviously different between the two. The milling on the Gen 3 is a little bit bigger and more spaced apart. Obviously the pocket clips are different. Both work very well going in and out of your pants pocket. Both have a really good amount of tension. I think the pocket clip on this one is titanium. I'm not sure. The pocket clip on this one is just stainless steel. Pretty sure. I'm not too certain about that, but that's just my guess. Both pocket clips are reversible, though they have a little bit different design. The pocket clip on the older model is attached underneath the glass breaker, whereas the pocket clip on the Gen 3 is attached on this little bolt here, or nut, whatever you want to call that. The glass breakers are a little bit different. And something different about the Gen 3, there is these holes on the bottom, which I'm not really sure why they did that. Maybe it's a necessary design feature, but that is something you should keep in mind when carrying, because some debris can get in through those holes into the internals. Now let's talk about the action. The action on the original model, definitely solid and reliable, a bit more stiffer to actuate. It's a little more difficult to deploy, not a huge problem, but something I instantly noticed about the Gen 3 is the action is quite a bit more smooth and just satisfying. And you could fidget with this thing a lot longer before this switch is starting to hurt your thumb. Now when I first got this, I got it used from a friend and it wasn't oiled at all, and I would have some blade misfires. And something you should keep in mind with the Gen 3 is when it misfires and the blade comes out part way, instead of pulling it out like you do with this model when there's a misfire, you're supposed to shake it back inside. Apparently, if you pull it out upon a misfire, it could misalign the blade from the internal track. I'm not sure if that's 100% true, but that is what I heard, and that's just something you should keep in mind. But I did oil this up with some REM oil, and which improved the action dramatically, and I put a little bit of oil underneath the switch. Now this isn't a brand new knife. I'm pretty sure they came out with the Gen 3s like, seems like almost a year ago. Now they have the Ultratech 4, which is the exact same design, but they come in different colors. And the only difference is the Ultratech 4s do not have the ZBP design, sadly. And I'm pretty sure that might have to do with the whole lawsuit between Hawk Knives and Microtech. I really hope they don't discontinue this, because that would be sad. This is such a great OTF knife. I'm kind of obsessed, and this is currently my favorite knife. And I have quite a few different pocket knives, so you can get this bad boy in a few different versions. They have black aluminum, they have the blades in tanto, they have the dagger with the one side serrated and one side. And you can also get this version with the same blade as this, with just the single edge drop point. Sadly, you cannot get the Gen 3 with this same blade finish and switch finish, which is the apocalyptic bronze, which I think is absolutely beautiful. It also has the apocalyptic bronze anodized hardware. Now, if I could have got this knife with the same handle, or black even, with the apocalyptic bronze finished blade, I definitely would have went with that option. Now when I bought this original Ultratech, I got it for about $320 a few years ago. I'm not exactly sure what these go for now, but I think they go for probably $250 to $300, and that's with this specific DLC. I think just the plain blade with the stonewash is probably a little bit less expensive, and the zero blade play Ultratechs, they go for about $400. And to be honest, both of them are probably going to perform equally. And you're probably wondering if the extra $100 is worth upgrading. I would think so. I'm super happy with having both versions in my collection. I think part of it is because I always wanted a deadlock, and this is just the much less expensive version of the deadlock. And that's kind of why I went with the dagger blade, is because typically I think all of the deadlocks come with the dagger blade. You can get them with just the single edge and a false edge on top. And in conclusion, I really do think the Gen 3 Ultratech is an upgrade from the previous version in pretty much every possible way. The most noticeable upgrade is just the action is definitely quite a bit smoother and more satisfying feeling. And just the overall look and feel of it, you cannot go wrong, and I really do think it's worth upgrading. Now I do have this little Kydex sheath for my original Ultratech here, which I think personally is a must to carry these things. Like, sure, you don't absolutely need these, but if you're just going to carry an OTF knife in your pocket, eventually there is going to get debris inside of the action, and typically you don't really want that. Like, yeah, I can handle some debris getting in there, but eventually it's going to cause it to misfire. So yeah, I do plan on picking up a Kydex sheath for this one. Since the handle is a little bit wider, it does not fit in this Kydex sheath, sadly, but you can get them for around 30-40 bucks from a few different websites. And something to keep in mind, if you do carry an OTF, just make sure you wipe the blade off after every use. You keep it oiled with some REM oil, and you try your best to keep the debris out of the action, and that is going to give you the most reliable OTF knife possible. And when it comes to Microtech, they make pretty much the most reliable OTF knife on the market, so you can't go wrong with a Microtech. Alright, and that was everything from my Microtech Ultratech comparison video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was everything you wanted to see about the new Ultratech Gen 3. Feel free to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss my future knife review and EDC content, and I will see y'all next time.